This does the gentleman from Pennsylvania seek recognition.
Madam Speaker, I rise in opposition.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
Madam Speaker, I came here tonight prepared to talk about the place I represent and how well the Democratic and Republican county officials ran our election. I wanted to point out that in my home county of Allegheny County, in the place they were counting the votes, there were 31 video cameras, 31 in the same place, just showing people counting votes, every single one of them on paper with representatives from both campaigns watching.
I think Congress would be a lot cooler if they could just beat the shit out of one another. Like, you know what I mean? Like they just got up on horses and jousted or something. Like, seriously.
That set up the system under which we just ran the election, and that the reason the president lost,
at least it'd be fun to watch, you know,
as other Republicans in our state. He got fewer votes than all of them. I wanted to lay out all this evidence, Madam Speaker, because I thought it was a sign of respect for my colleagues, for all the Americans out there who don't know who to trust. I was raised on that. I was raised on that respect, which makes this a hard speech for me to give. Because to do this with any kind of honesty means admitting and declaring in this House that these objections don't deserve an ounce of respect. Not an ounce. A woman died out there tonight, and you're making these objections.
Stop saying leaked, Chad. Jesus Christ.
Let's be clear about what happened in this chamber today. Invaders came in for the first time since the War of 1812. They desecrated these halls and this chamber and practically every inch of ground where we work. And for the most part, they walked in here free. A lot of them walked out free. And there wasn't a person watching at home who didn't know why that was, because of the way that they look.
House will be in order.
My point, Madam Speaker, is this. Enough has been done here today already to try to strip this Congress of its dignity. And these objectors don't need to do any more. We know that that attack today, it didn't materialize out of nowhere. It was inspired by lies, the same lies that you're hearing in this room tonight. And the members who are repeating those lies should be ashamed of themselves. Their constituents should be ashamed of them. And we know what's going to happen as soon as I walk away, what's happened all night tonight, what will continue to happen. They will take these same symbols, these same concepts, they'll smuggle them into their arguments, they'll make the same arguments. And I want people at home, anyone who is still watching, to know these arguments are not for them, they're for you. None of the evidence we wanted to discuss here tonight will change their opinions or what they're about to say. But you need to know that's not the end. It's not as if there's nothing we can do because of that, and if there was, I don't think this nation would have made it to almost 250 years. The fact is, Madam Speaker, the fact is that at the end of the day, people...
Gentleman from Virginia.
What?
Gentleman will say this point of order.
The gentleman will say his point of order.
Yes, ma'am. Point of order. The gentleman said that there were lies on this floor here today, looking over this direction. I ask that those words be taken down. We may have a disagreement on matters, but
Mr. Mann, it's not timely.
This side of the aisle liars.
No, the gentleman's man was not timely. You didn't register an appropriate time. The gentleman will proceed.
Dude,
Thank you, Madam
Congress members are the biggest
Speaker,
bitches on the planet.
that at the end of the day,
Like, the way they get so
You can't say
offended.
that about me every single day. So
the truth
just
hurts.
hold your tongue.
The truth hurts.
The gentleman
Okay, it's
will
getting a little
proceed.
spicy. Throw hands, bitch. Throw hands, motherfucker.
It hurts.
Okay.
It hurts them. It hurts this country. It hurts all of us. But the fact is that the people have made this country work by not giving in. Go ahead, shout it out. Say
The
one thing
gentleman
that's
is
true.
not in order. The gentleman will proceed. The gentleman will proceed.
One last thing to say, Madam Speaker, and I thank you for your patience. All people need to know, all they need to know tonight, Madam Speaker,
There'll be order in the House. There'll be order in the House. There'll be order in the House. The gentleman will clear the
Beat their
chamber.
asses! Beat
The
their
gentleman will
asses!
clear the chamber.
Throw hands, motherfucker. Throw hands. Let's do it.
Gentleman will proceed.
thank you, Madam Speaker. The truth hurts. But the fact is this. We want this government to work more than they want it to fail. And after everything that's happened today, we want that more than ever. Know that, the people watching at home. We want this government to work. We will make it work. They will not make it fail. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I yield back.
Thank you, John. Who's next? Who?
Parliamentary.
That was Connor Lamb.
When is the appropriate time
Pennsylvania
to ask that the
17th.
words be stricken and taken down?
Exactly.
Shut the
when
fuck
the
up, you
words are
Republican
spoken.
bitch, dude.
You are late.
Connor Lamb.
For what purposes, gentlemen
That was
from
Connor Lamb,
Louisiana
Pennsylvania District 17. I mean, he's literally like
Are
a
you
baby.
seeking
So it's
recognition?
surprising that they're like,
Who seeks time to speak on the objection?
Gentleman from Louisiana.
Gentleman from Louisiana.
I rise, Madam Speaker, in support of the objection.
Gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes without objection.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My. Let us take a deep breath, shall we?
what are you, a prospector in an old-timey Southern movie, dude? What is this?
The cornerstone of the strength of our American Republic is not only the peaceful transition of power.
I see that
it's the
there's
peaceful
some
transition of a lawful
Jebediah
power.
told me that there was gold around
And
these
it's
parts, but I
within
did
the
not
parameters of our
recognize
oath.
that the gold Jebediah told me was actually of the black variety. I'm talking coal. My. Would be a shame if we placed a railroad around these parts that would directly help out with the prospecting.
United States, governors, secretaries of state, or local election commissions acted in violation of the election clause of the U.S. Constitution, wherein state legislatures are granted the sole authority to determine how presidential electors are appointed. It's that simple. State executive officials usurp the constitutionally
My man said,
vested
fuck it, by the
authority
way. He
of
was
state
like, my
legislatures
nose is protruding out of the mask, so
states.
it's
Why
time
are
to
we
substitute
involved
to the move I like to call a
Because
chin
the
diaper.
founders gave us a narrow
Very
road.
good.
If we suspect that an election was compromised in a sovereign state, then we have a role in the seating of those electors and the counting. America is not a confederacy of states. We're a union of states. We're a representative republic. Therefore, each sovereign state has a deep obligation to follow the writ of its own election law during a federal election.
Bro, this dude literally sounds like he lives in a time where, like, he's defending slavery. Okay, I'm sorry. I cannot take you seriously. If you literally sound like an old-timey spaghetti western villain, it sounds like you should never use the word confederacy, first of all, because, like, immediately it sounds like you put the mask back on. Nobody needs to see your face. Okay? And secondly, when you use the word confederacy with that accent, there's like, you know, red flags. It's just like alarm ringing in my mind where it's like, oh no.
Of the American people. May I ask, may we seek the quiet whisper of God's own voice within us. And I ask my colleagues to consider supporting this objection. I yield the balance of my time to the gentleman from New Jersey.
Thank you, and thank you for
a state that I refuse to recognize, as there are no oil refineries.
This is a debate. It's a discussion. Everybody has a right.
My colleagues in the House earlier said that we should not go forward with my bill
With your view or your
that dictated that the more oil refineries you had, the more votes you had in the Electoral College.
a different opinion.
Leviticus Cornwall. Yeah, exactly.
For God's sake, as people watch this or see it or hear it, they expect more from us than that. We can disagree at a certain level. There is nothing worse than moral pomposity. You know, today was an amazing and terrible day. But one thing that we do know,
Someone needs
ladies
to
and
tell me
gentlemen,
where that
is that our
motherfucker
law
is from.
enforcement
Where is that dude
protected
from?
lives,
Chat,
and
one
they
of you
protected
knows.
and preserved our
He
democracy.
represents one of you guys,
I
right?
worked
We're
firsthand,
not this guy, not the New
as I
Jersey guy,
always
but the other
have,
one.
just as I do back home in South Jersey.
Pomposity. I can't. He's
Brave
Louisiana,
men and
of
women
course.
put their lives on the line to defend all of us. May God bless the woman who lost her life today, and may God bless what is and will always be the greatest nation in the history of the world, the United States of America.
I mean, Louisiana
At the core
is pretty.
of our country's
It's
greatness
pretty
is our
bad.
democratic system. Pardon me?
The rule of the House, you must use your mask.
At the core of our country's greatness is our democratic system of government. Without faith in the integrity of our elections,
I'm sorry, but if you literally can't have a mask on while you're on that stage, like, it's pretty obvious to me at that point that, like, you literally don't ever wear a mask. Okay? Like, if it's literally coming off your nose when you're talking, it's clear that you literally never wear a mask, and therefore you have no idea what fits on your face and how to control it. Okay? It's like a very clear indication that you're only putting that on for show when you're in the fucking floor. We're literally a year into the pandemic, dog. Like, figure out what fits on your fucking face, homie. That's a Democrat. Like, that's not... Or I think that's a Democrat, isn't it? I don't even fucking know. Dude, there's too many politicians. They gotta...
I started this day disheartened
No,
that our
that's a
colleagues were going to drag us through this cynical political charade of
I don't even know.
objecting to duly certified electoral college votes. But I was ready and eager to defend Pennsylvania's elections and the will of Pennsylvania's
Jefferson
voters.
H. Van Drew
Never did I expect
is an American politician
to be
and
answering
a
calls from
dentist
family
serving as a
and
U.S.
friends
representative for New
concerned
Jersey's
for my
2nd
safety,
Congressional District.
or to have to barricade myself in an office. But most important of all, never did I expect to see our capital overrun by armed insurrectionists intent on disrupting our government at the urging of the president. What happened here today has made me heartsick for our country, but it only strengthens my resolve to uphold the rule of law and to protect the decision of Pennsylvania's voters. Earlier this week, we raised our hands and swore an oath to bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States. But today, those who are blocking the counting of electors
South
from
Jersey,
Pennsylvania
dude.
are showing that their allegiance lies not to the Constitution or to their constituents, and many would argue not even to the Republican Party, but to their own political fortunes and the outgoing president.
Fucking South Jersey.
Pennsylvania's voters,
Wannabe
not
Pennsylvania
members of
ass.
Congress, are tasked
Part of the
with
fucking
choosing
state,
Pennsylvania's
goddammit.
presidential electors, and particularly not congressmen from other states. The people have spoken, and Pennsylvania certified our electors. We must respect our oath here by rejecting this unfounded objection to Pennsylvania's electoral votes and not substitute Congress's judgment for that of the people of Pennsylvania.
Hudson
Legal
County, baby.
challenges to elections are serious matters.
South
and
Jersey
that's why
has
there
some
is a
dank
place
ass
to
fucking
consider
pizza in
those
Atlantic
challenges
City.
in
One of the best
before
buffalo
impartial
chicken slices I've
judges.
ever had in my
And
entire life. I have a lot of
Pennsylvania's
homies that live in
legal
South
process
Jersey,
has
like
worked.
near Atlantic City, where the rich part is.
pseudo-legal
Not Atlantic City, where
arguments
not
that
the
are
rich
being
part is,
raised by the
but yeah, Bergen
objectors here
County, I
today
think.
Are not new.
Or was it Hudson County?
Over the past 2 months, The president and his
I don't know, the fucking
allies
rich
have
part of
filed
Atlantic
more
City,
than
like the
20
near Atlantic
lawsuits
City,
to
where all
challenge
like the fucking
Pennsylvania
doctors and
election.
shit live.
Those challenges have been rejected in federal courts, state courts, appellate courts.
No, not
and the
Bergen
United
County. Bergen
States
County's North
Supreme
Jersey.
Court.
You're right.
Challenges have been rejected by judges who are registered Democrats, Republicans, Independents, and who've been appointed
Atlantic
by
County,
Democratic
Cape
and
May
Republican
County.
presidents.
Maybe it's Cape May.
And why did they lose all those
No,
cases?
it's not Cherry Hill. I know
As
Cherry
Third
Hill
Circuit
too.
Judge
I have
Beavis,
friends
a
from Cherry
Trump
Hill that
appointee,
literally
wrote,
hunt.
Free, fair elections are the lifeblood of our democracy. Charges of unfairness are serious, but calling an election unfair does not make it so. Charges require specific allegations.
South
and
Jersey
then
goes
proof.
wild like that.
We have neither here. What the court said points to an important distinction about when and how.
I know people who
claims
hunt
of
Dunham in
election
Arkansas. I mean,
misconduct
it's
are made.
unique for New Jersey.
It's easy to make wild claims of election fraud on cable television or Twitter, but those claims are not facts. And while there may be no immediate consequences for misleading the public with such statements, there is certainly a penalty for misleading the courts. A lawyer
On a
faces
single true progressive
fines,
talking,
jail, and
taking
loss
note
of
on the
his or her
Dems.
license for making frivolous or false claims. The lawyers for the Trump campaign never alleged widespread fraud or illegal voting had impacted Pennsylvania's elections, because those claims are false. When our colleagues indulge in this political theater and endorse fringe conspiracy theories, they may think there are no consequences because they know that this time the majorities of the House and Senate will overrule them. But as the entire world saw today, their baseless claims of election fraud do have consequences. They undermine faith and respect for our elections and our government. They chip away at the foundation of our constitutional republic, and they take a sledgehammer to the peaceful transfer of power. It is our job to respect the rule of law and reject this political
please say Central
charade.
Jersey exists. Why would I lie? It literally doesn't exist. And I say this as someone who, like, you know, lived in Freehold. It just doesn't exist. It's not real.
Who have withstood
It literally does not
political
exist.
pressure, and today
New Jersey
honor their
politics
oath.
can be reduced to whether you lie about your being from Pennsylvania, and that's if you're from South Jersey, or you lie about being from New York, and that is if you're from North Jersey. There is no such thing as Central Jersey. And the line, another way to distinguish whether someone is from South Jersey or North Jersey, is if they say Taylor ham or pork roll. And that's it. That's how you know if a motherfucker's from North Jersey or South Jersey. And you know if a motherfucker's from South Jersey or North Jersey by where they lie that they're actually from.
Duty to debate and vote on the certification of the Electoral College, violence interrupted the proceedings in an attempt to stop the democratic process. Those who committed these acts are domestic terrorists and should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And I thank the Capitol Police and all of the law enforcement organizations that pushed back against this mob. I can't help but be reminded of the bravery during the baseball shooting on myself and my Republican colleagues in June of 2017. I thank God every day for their presence. The American people deserve full transparency in the electoral process, with confidence that any irregularities and inconsistencies in that process will be fully investigated. As a former Texas Secretary of State, I know the electoral process well, and above all, I know what the courts, the executive branch, and elections officials can and cannot do without approval by the state legislature. During my tenure, I knew that my authority was confined to the powers the legislature provided me. If states fail to abide by the Constitution and follow their own laws, it calls into question whether the votes in Texas or any other state are fairly represented.
I say pork roll. I don't say Taylor
And now,
ham.
as
Sorry.
a duly elected member of Congress, the Constitution outlines my rights to speak and voice my constituents' concerns with my vote. It is pivotal that we have free and fair elections in our representative democracy, and more importantly, that we trust in the results of those elections. In no way is voicing an objection an attempt to overturn an election.
Doesn't matter. I'm a bacon guy anyway. Bacon, egg, and cheese.
And all objections have been heard. I acknowledge that we will have a peaceful transfer of power on January 20th. Faith in our system must be restored, and Americans must be confident that their vote matters and only lawful votes will be counted.
Why is this dude taking his mask off?
This is a sad day in our nation's history, but a solemn reminder that our country will not falter and will not fail. In God we trust. I yield the remainder of my time to my colleague, Congressman Cawthorn.
Hello, everyone. As I said in my convention speech, I want a new generation of Americans to be radicals. To be radicals for freedom.
Why don't you radicalize some bitches, bro? Put the fucking mask back on.
Violence.
Dipshit.
I am bitterly disappointed by the protests that happened yesterday.
Put the mask on, little boy.
The actions of a violent few were cowardly and pathetic, and I am not afraid to call it out. The Republican Party is a party of limited government. It is the big tent party. It's not the party of destruction. Madam Speaker, the oath I took just days ago demands that I speak out in defense, not of one president or
Bro,
another,
if literally a Sperry shoe was a person, dude, how is this dude like a real human being? I swear to God, dude.
Power solely to state legislatures to determine how elections are carried out.
Looking like a boat shoe,
when
dude.
Other officials who are not vested with constitutional authority usurp their role and grind the Constitution under their heel,
My man is
I must
exuding
object.
date rape energy, dude.
Our nation is a nation of resilience. In Valley Forge, George Washington prayed for a republic to be formed from the ashes of a monarchy. At Gettysburg, Americans gave their lives to defend a very simple idea, that the American democracy that had been earned with the blood of their forefathers would not perish due to internal divisions. Then on the islands of Iwo Jima and Okinawa, American servicemen gave their lives to defend this nation's freedom from fascism. And what unites each and every generation of Americans is the idea that those who submit themselves to the authority of government ought to have a voice in that same government. We are Americans here in this chamber and in this country. But what does it really mean to be an American? It means believing in the rule of law. It means speaking up in defense of our founding principles and in defense of the Constitution. Being an American means that you are proud of your country, but that you never beat your chest. And being an American means that sometimes you must stand alone while others sit. Now, obviously I can't stand, but trust me, if I could stand, I would stand in defense of our Constitution today. Amen. Thank you all.
Bro, oh no, this dude is literally always gonna do the like Toph style. You know how like Toph on Avatar Last Airbender used to make like blind jokes, which is like fun and great because she's a likable character. I assumed he's gonna constantly make his disability the punchline of like how he can't stand these hoes. Oh man, I can't stand these hoes in Congress. Like, is that what's gonna happen? I mean, it's yo, this is crazy.
Massachusetts courtroom and argued against the king's writs of assistance. But Pennsylvania is the cradle of democracy. It is where we hosted the signing of the Declaration of Independence and the American Constitution. And it was Pennsylvanians who immediately went to battle to defend this idea of democracy. They went right after Bunker Hill to the siege of Boston. American riflemen were instrumental at the transformational battles of Trenton and Saratoga.
He's already been doing it.
And it's Independence Hall where these documents got signed, the Declaration and the Constitution.
Yo.
And you heard my colleagues, you heard.
Okay, I think we pulled the trigger a little too early calling this dude a Nazi and stuff because he said like, oh, Fuhrer. But then he also followed it up by like, because he did say like, oh, I'm at Mein Fuhrer's like fucking, you know, summer home or whatever, the Eagle's Nest, like, you know, just chilling in Cedar Rapids, right? And And everyone was like, he's a Nazi, right? Like everyone was like, he's a Nazi because like, why the fuck would some American dude go visit like Hitler's fucking summer home and be like, what a time to be alive at my Führer's summer home. He didn't say my Führer, but he said Führer, right? And that's really suspicious. And I think we pulled the trigger a little bit. Like we pulled the trigger a little too early on that one, calling him a Nazi, because like he did follow it up by literally saying, you know, that like he's great evil or something. I don't fucking know. I don't remember the exact details. But dude, he literally looks like a Nazi. Like I can't get over it. Like is he doing it on purpose? Like what's going on? Why does he literally look like he just looks like an Aryan Youth poster, dude. Like I can't get over it. I don't know if he's like doing it on purpose. He's kind of good looking too, like no cap. Sorry, I'm gonna be honest with you, but like this fit literally looks like he's just wheeling his way over to the fucking Third Reich.
Right now, headed to the White House. We're about to speak on behalf of Donald Trump. But remember, we're not doing this for Donald Trump. We're doing this for the Constitution. It's for the future of our republic. I hope you guys will all stand with us. Thank you. Right now, headed to the White House.
He got paralyzed in a car crash? Yeah, I know. He also tried to low-key make it seem like he literally was like, you know, paralyzed in like combat or something. His ads literally made it seem like you couldn't tell if he was like in battle and like got shot that way or something, when it turns out he was just like applying to become a Marine or something with no indication that he ever got into the program or anything. And then he was in a drunk driving incident. He said it was on his bucket list. Like, is that shit right next to visiting the Eiffel Tower on the list? Yeah, it's kind of weird. It is kind of weird. Wheeling over to the Third Reich. I mean, he is wheeling over to the Third Reich. He's heading to see Donald Trump. Motherfucker got 5 million views on that. I mean, dude, he's a good looking kid. He's in a wheelchair, like clean cut. May or may not have sig heiled. Like literally all of those things are good for the Republicans. Okay. Well spoken. He was excused for not wearing a mask because they don't want to be insensitive to disabled youth. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Yo, seriously? I'd be like, I don't give a fuck, dude. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize your disability was on your face, dude. Nope. Wear that fucking mask. That's crazy, dude. That's... Oh, shit. God damn it. I'm getting punished for making fun of a person with a disability, even though I'm not making fun of their disability, obviously. And I am an equal opportunity shitter. Like, I'm gonna shit on you. I'm not gonna shit on your disability, but I will shit on you regardless.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Every one of us swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies of foreign and domestic. I swore that oath in uniform, and in the first part of it is the same that we swear here in Congress. The last time we needed to defend our Constitution against a domestic enemy, we fought a civil war. And then at the conclusion of that civil war, we passed the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments that make clear that no state is so sovereign that they can deprive their citizens
if you know one thing is that
of the laws. When it comes to election, that means
I don't think anyone's above criticism. And it doesn't matter even if you have a disability.
Dilute the votes of their citizens and deprive.
All right, we're going up, and it's also top of the hour every hour, 6-second ad break.
It doesn't mean that a state can do that by law or by practice. So whether the law was changed and made it such that there is no way to provide equal protection, one person, one vote, or the practice was corrupted, it cannot stand. And frankly,
okay, first of all, homie's wearing a gator. Those were like literally 3 months into the pandemic, we found out that those are worse than a mask and worse than even not wearing a mask. Okay? That was like 3 months into the pandemic when we were like, hey, don't get gators. Like, those things don't fucking work. Okay? They literally are worse than just not wearing a mask at all. And secondly, I can't believe he's literally wearing his grievances on his face. Bro, you're a full-ass adult, dude. You're not in college anymore. What do you mean, go Army, beat Navy? Like, you're really gonna wear a fucking beat Navy gaiter, dude? What the fuck? Absolutely zero people care about this grievance, okay? Zero people. The people literally playing on the Army team and the Navy team do not give a fuck about the fucking ongoing rivalry. God damn. No, the gaiter is what he's wearing. It's called a neck gaiter. Approximately 3 people care about this sports rivalry.
The 249,000.
They're all terrible. They all suck at fucking sports, dude. It's literally like no one with a fucking legitimate career in the NFL is joining the Army or the Army team or the Navy team. So those teams suck ass. They're absolute garbage. Anyway, here's the ad. Top of the hour, every hour, 6-second ad break coming to you right now, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to no longer see the ads, all you need to do is subscribe, folks. And you can do that for $5 or for free. Pat Tillman is the exception who literally quit his NFL job and joined the service after 9/11 and then was literally fucking killed by... I mean, he was killed in friendly fire under suspicious circumstances for having correspondences with Noam Chomsky and being a radical anti-imperialist immediately after deployment. So, anyway, here's the top of the hour, every hour, 6-second ad break. Oh, also, they lied about his death to his family and still to this day use Pat Tillman as like some fucking, you know, chud hero when in fact... it was quite the opposite. Also, he never played for the Army. Oh my God, why do I know so much about football? That's disgusting. Don't ever ask me questions about football again. That's information that I don't need to know and I don't need to repeat.
The integrity of future presidential elections is ensured.
Yikes.
It is imperative we take this opportunity. The future of our republic depends on it. Benjamin Franklin, in the summer of 1787, during the heated debate to create our sacred Constitution, said these famous words.
I'm surprised you know that.
I have lived long, sir.
You're surprised that I know about a very famous American icon who is who
governs in the affairs of men.
Deployed for the military and then started fucking sending letters to Noam Chomsky? No, you should not be surprised that I know that.
Without his aid. We have been assured, sir, in the sacred writings that except the Lord build it, they labor in vain that build it.
That has nothing to do with sports. It has everything to do with politics. That's why I know about it.
Almighty that ordained our nation into being to help us in our time of need. I yield back.
Thank you. Is that he? What purpose does
you think it would protest on the same magnitude as today? No.
Recognition?
Madam Speaker, I rise in opposition.
I don't think so.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
Madam Speaker, as a student of foreign
Dude, I made a Twitch account and I waited 10 minutes just to say I'm from Central Jersey. What the fuck? West near Philly, where there are more horses than people. Okay, it sucked. What face? That ain't New York or the South.
Confederacy, a mob breached this house. But there is good news. The democracy held today. For the last few years, misinformation and fear has been fed into people for profit and power, and for too many years, leaders around the country said nothing and sometimes echoed those messages because of the belief that winning, no matter the cost, was worth everything. Today, we saw the result of ignoring these warning signs. People look to Washington to give hope. Instead, we simply amplify fears. People look to us for expertise on what we can't, on what can and can't be possible. Sometimes it's easier to say what makes people feel good instead of the hard facts. Today, some members of Congress argue that we can unilaterally pick the next president, that our glorious wisdom, armed with Twitter, we know better than the American people. Some have shown that if conspiracies are repeated enough,
wait, did they actually get into a fist fight?
Disputed. Even here in this chamber, after the events today, some speeches have been shockingly tone deaf. I've seen people applaud cheap political lines that are embarrassing. Power and cultural fights have divided us so much that they're the ultimate goal now, and sometimes the oath we swear to uphold feels like a prop. People have been lied to
by
too many for too long. So here's the truth. Joe Biden won this election. The effort will fail, and everybody knows it. For some out there, this isn't about making a statement for the betterment of our country. It's about avoiding the pain of leveling with the people and telling them.
Okay, I'm going to show you two things. So first, I'm going to show you, this is not as fun. First, I'm going to show you Representative Andy Harris. Okay? Guys, this is Representative Andy Harris. He's the congressman for Maryland 1st Congressional District since 2011. He is 63 years old. Okay, he's a Republican from Brooklyn. And I don't know, what is he, like a fucking dentist or some shit? Usually half these dudes are like dentists or optometrists or some shit. Now he is trying to get into a scuffle and fight Democratic Representative Colin Allred. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is Representative Colin Allred, who is an American politician, a lawyer, and a former football player. Colin Allred is also 37 years old. How do you think that would have ended for Representative Andy Harris, who is 63 years old? His dentist-looking ass, dude. What do you think happens in that circumstance? That would have been horrible for one party. I wish it happened.
As the legislature thereof may direct a number of electors. Meaning that it's the duty of the state legislatures to select their electors in the manner they stipulate. It's right here. The founders of our republic did not want to federalize elections, which is why they reserved the selection of electors to the state legislatures. Historically, when Congress intervened in the electoral process, it was in the Civil War, it was when states were sending multiple slates of electors. But that is not the case today. Of the 6 states actively being contested, 5 have Republican legislatures. 5 are controlled by one party. 5 have the authority to get together and to vote to change the elector that they sent to us. How many of the 6 did? Not one. Pennsylvania did not get together and vote as a body and send us a new slate of electors. They did not send us a bill or a resolution citing injustice at the state level. None of them. Are they cowards? Do they not know the Constitution? Have they not read it like you and I? Or are they merely passing the buck? Here's the reality. Look, I believe this was not a fraud-free election. I believe that there were problems in Pennsylvania and in Georgia. But the Constitution gives us the right to fix that at the state level, not throw out the Electoral College. We do not want to absolve the responsibility of the people in those states to hold their own lawmakers accountable. I, as a Washington State Congresswoman, don't know better than the people in Pennsylvania and Georgia. Folks, we can't vote to undermine the Electoral College today. We have to uphold it. With that, I yield. Thank you.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Florida seek recognition?
I rise in support of the objection, Madam Speaker.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As you've heard from both sides of the aisle over and over and over tonight, members of Congress take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution. Clearly, the Constitution says state legislatures make voting laws, period, end of subject. And clearly, in Pennsylvania and some other states, non-legislators change those voting laws. No matter who wins or who loses, those are violations of the Constitution, whether you, me, or anyone else likes it or not. As Congressman Davison pointed out, over a dozen FBI agents were immediately dispatched to fully investigate Bubba Wallace's garage door. But sadly, the FBI never responded to my request to investigate massive voting irregularity accusations, like the video footage from Georgia that we all wish we didn't see. Neither has the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of State, the Postal Inspector General, the Director of National Intelligence, the CIA, and last of all, the U.S. Department of Justice. The right to vote is not only a constitutional right, it's also a civil right, and we must protect it. Running a fair and transparent election is not something America should run away from. It's something we must live up to. Every eligible American has a right to have their vote counted and the right to feel confident that his or her vote was counted, not neutralized by an illegal vote. Otherwise, I fear our republic is doomed. That's why I implore you to support a full investigation. And I yield the balance of my time to the fine gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Kelly.
I thank the gentleman. This has been an interesting day, and I know we want to...
Bitch, it's 2 a.m. Shut up, dude. It's almost 3. Like, you don't get to yell at 3 a.m.
And all the rest of this, and we're very, very grateful to the Capitol Police and all those who came in to protect us. But the real debate right now about Pennsylvania is Pennsylvania's Act 77. Was it constitutional or was it unconstitutional? All the rest of the trimmings you can set aside and just decide, was it constitutional or unconstitutional? Act 77 changed Pennsylvania's voting law and Pennsylvania's Constitution. Now, Pennsylvania could change that law, but it's done through an amendment to the Constitution. It's not just done because somebody would like to see that done. We had a mail ballot that was available. It's an absentee ballot. We did not have a no-excuse ballot. What did Pennsylvania have to do to get to the point where they would have a no-excuse mail-in ballot? Number one, in 2 successive sessions of the Pennsylvania legislature, that had to be passed in that legislation, one session after the other. If it passed both times, then it had to be published in every one of the 67 counties of Pennsylvania twice. When that was finished, it then had to go before the Pennsylvania voters to decide whether they wanted the Constitution amended. Pennsylvania did the first one. They actually did take a vote, and it was overwhelming. But then they scrapped it, and they put it in an omnibus bill. That is an unconstitutional change. You cannot do it. It's that simple. So I love the idea about Washington crossing the Delaware. I love the idea about Washington and going through a terrible winter. I hate the idea of what we had to go through today. But if oaths don't matter, and we've all taken them, and if the Constitution doesn't matter, why do we even do it? Why go through this charade that somehow we are really close friends, except when it comes to the really important things? We have driven this country apart through the people's house. And we wonder what happens? The biggest loss on November 3rd.
Bro, you're literally a Republican. Like, shut the fuck up.
Lost in this voting system because we have allowed it to happen. It's unconstitutional.
My chatterino is fucking freaking out again.
For what purpose does the gentleman seek recognition?
Wait, does this mean I gotta download a new version of this?
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
80 years ago today, Franklin Roosevelt delivered his 3rd inaugural address. Every realist knows, he said, that the democratic way of life at this moment is being assailed in every part of the world, assailed either by arms or by the secret spreading of poisonous propaganda by those who would seek to destroy unity and promote discord in nations that are still at peace. Today, the principal threat to our democracy comes from a different but also poisonous propaganda of those who seek to destroy our unity and promote discord. According
Bro, how do I have one version of Chatterino that's popping off, that's like literally live, that's beta, but when I try to open a second Chatterino screen, it for some reason goes into, look at this. Dude, technology is just, oh wait, it says 223 beta, but this one is updatable and that one's updatable too. It says the version online seems to be lower than the current beta. Either a version was reverted or you're running a newer build. Do you want to install it? Dude, I don't even fucking know what's going on anymore, dude. This
chose to lead us out of this calamity shall not take office. The coronavirus will claim more American lives than all of the casualties in World War II. To meet that moment will require unity, not discord, will require an abiding faith in our country, in our democracy, in our government's ability to function and provide for the needs of its citizens.
Fuck.
The members of this body cannot continue to challenge the merits of an election that was fairly conducted and overwhelmingly won by Joe Biden. It must stop. Look at the damage that was wrought in this House today, to this country today. Is that not enough? Roosevelt said this nation has placed its destiny in the hands and heads and hearts of millions of free men and women. Our strength, he concluded, is our unity of purpose. Let us unite once again in defense of the greatest hope of freedom-loving people around the world, this precious democracy. I yield to Jamie Raskin.
Madam Speaker, the baseless attack on Pennsylvania and its electors brought to mind for me the great Tom Paine, the champion of popular democracy, who came over to America to fight with us in the revolution against the king. And he lived in Philadelphia, where he wrote Common Sense in the Age of Reason. And Paine said, in the monarchies, the king is the law, but in the democracies, the law will be king. When you think about it, the peaceful transfer of power is the central condition of maintaining democracy under the rule of law. That's why the famous election of 1801 was such a big deal.
Bro, I never realized, I mean, I guess I always suspected that they'd be fucking boring, but I never realized how fucking boring they would be. It's like all these dudes know is fucking eat hot chip, charge their phone, talk about fucking historical facts that are completely irrelevant to the conversation, be bisexual but in the closet, and lie, dude. Literally, that's all congresspersons know, dude.